Hello again. I thought it was about time I touched base again and update you on what I've been doing. I've been experimenting as usual and really pushing the boundaries. So just bear with me. I'm going to put the camera down here for a minute so that my hands are free and I can talk a bit more. Okay, a while ago you probably noticed me making necklaces out of the braided fishing line. And as you can see here, I started to try and create undersea scenes. And in desperation, I used some polymer clay to make a starfish here. Unfortunately, I burnt it, but who's going to know? And the usual things. I've discovered all this lovely string that has been collected by local dive groups in our waterways and cleaned up. It is really lovely. So I went from there, tried a little bit more, added a little bit more. As you can see here, started making another starfish, some carved pumice stone, try to work with that. And I've fallen in love with nudiblancs. I don't know if I've said it right, but those lovely little sea creatures. So I started trying to make those. And at the same time, my lovely husband had given me some tarpon scales, fish scales. So I started to include those, and there's some fish scales in there. So started with the polymer clay, trying to make things. Then I started experimenting with how I could make little miniature underwater scenes in the bottle tops, because there's so many of those. I'm really trying to come up with ideas to use those bottle tops. So there's another little one. Pretty crude. Wasn't really 100% happy with it. Wasn't really happy with my nudiblancs at first either, but I'm starting to get there. And this is actually recycled fabric that I've started to work on and bead and paint to make some little nudiblancs. They'll go onto necklaces eventually. So from there it was like, okay, well, what else am I going to do? Started playing a little bit more with the polymer clay, and this is another experiment that I'm actually working on, where I put a mask in there like that, and I'll dress it up. I'm playing with some other ideas there, beads and wire and whatever. Another idea was, another experiment recently was using paper clay. I don't think it's sturdy enough for the necklaces, but if you did something like that and made it into a brooch, I think it might work. Then, of course, I'm doing the usual thing. I love my yabby pot, crab pot netting, which is lovely. The really soft cotton ghost netting. That is just fabulous. So did the usual thing, the necklace. I really like that one. And then from there I went, well, why can't I combine the polymer clay faces with that really soft netting? And I came up with Calypso. She was my very first one. There's the face, and you can see I've used some of that gorgeous fishing string that has scrubbed up really well. So that meet Calypso. The only problem with Calypso, as my first experiment, was though I've stitched and glued the hair on the back there, it doesn't feel as sturdy. So then I started putting the polymer faces. Where are they? They've disappeared. Here we go. Here's one that's a multicolored one. I started to play around with a little bit more, added polymer hair, and then glued it to a piece of marine plastic. That's pretty big and clunky, I know, but you know, I reckon, I don't know, what do you think? I actually quite like it, but that's just me. So then I thought, well, maybe that is a little bit clunky. Maybe I've gone too far the other way. So then I got some netting again, and I added just a basic head to it like that. So then I thought, oh, well, you know, I really like this, and I've now been able to really work out a nice way of attaching my ghost netting to findings and making it secure, which has been a big challenge. Now I'm doing a combination of my marine debris, my natural blue quandong seeds, and recycled beads. Then, of course, I couldn't stop there. I then started to think, well, you know, I wonder if I could use really simple fishing line so that, and I can hang things so that it looks like they're suspended in midair. This is as far as I've got so far. These are little recycled pearls. I don't know if you can see them, but I posted that just recently, And I'm thinking my next project is to use this really fine fishing line. Again, it was a challenge trying to get the right findings and the right secure way of actually attaching it so it's quite sturdy. So now that I've got that down pat, my next project is to try and work some plastics with that. So there you go. I've been a bit busy, but I hope this gives you an idea of how one idea bounces onto the next, So I piggyback on my ideas. So I start with one thing and then I upcycle it a bit and twist it around. So there you go. A little bit more about my crazy mind and my crazy creative studio and how I spend my time. Have a good day and you take care, and I hope we catch up soon. Bye-bye.